Hello, YouTube. It's your girl, Deneezy, and I'm back for season 4 of Joseline's Cabaret, episode 6, which apparently the girls have been shooting for 2 or 3 days. So, if we're already halfway through the season, like, how long did these girls even film for? The pacing this season has just been so slow, and we still haven't even gotten to the Mayweather and Gotti fight that everybody has been waiting for. But, anyways, we open with a new music video. This song is called You in the Wrong Place. And when I was watching it, my man was right next to me, and he was just like, what is she doing? Who is checking for her music like that? Are you serious? And I was just like, I like the song. The song isn't bad. I see it for sure like blowing up on TikTok because it's so catchy. But I know for me, like this is definitely a song I can play while I'm grooving in the shower because I take really long showers and I just be there having whole concerts. So I'm gonna definitely be in there like, you in the wrong place, you know I kill you dead. You in the wrong place, you know I kill you dead. Now, the episode begins with the fight of a lifetime, right? We have Wet Wet and T Love going at it. And between the both of them, there's really no hair to grab. So they're really just like slapping and swinging at each other. But see, I told y'all last episode that Wet Wet is an experienced fighter, okay? Because the way she swung around that pillar and she kicked T Love not once, but twice. And T Love ends up on the ground, but she says that she slipped on the water that's on the floor. But let me tell you why I don't believe that, okay? Because Wet Wet is the one wearing slippers. Like T Love is barefoot, but Wet Wet is the one wearing slippers, and Wet Wet did not fall, not one time. The only time she fell was when she was on the couch. But the water on the floor did not phase Wet Wet at all. And you know what? That's why her name is Wet Wet. And she's really a water bender because she water bended T Love on the floor and she did not fall one time. And Wet Wet was so entertaining this episode. Like every time she was finished being on T Love, she just got up and just kept on dancing every single time. And I think that they must have been fighting for a long time because you know how Wet Wet eventually she cuts her foot on the glass when they were fighting and she's bleeding on the floor. But then there's this scene of her on the counter. There's no blood. There's no blood in all the scenes where she keeps dancing. And y'all know that Zeus security on Joseline's Cabaret be letting the girls fight. Zeus security don't do that in any other Zeus network show. But for some reason on Joseline's Cabaret, they let those girls fight. And I feel like Joseline is so uninvolved with the girls this season because she dead ass walked in the middle of T Love and Wet Wet's fight like, oh, they fought already? What happened? Like she had no idea what was going on. And I just want to take a moment to thank this security guard. I think one of the girls from season 2 was calling him Chris. Sorry to this man if his name is not Chris, but I'm going to call him Chris. So if you guys have watched other Zeus Network shows, you know that Chris is always in the middle of every iconic Zeus Network fight. And he's been through everything. He catches strays. He be trying to console the people that are fighting. And I just be looking for him like, where's Waldo? Huh? So now T-Love is really upset and she starts throwing up gang signs and talking about how she's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I'm just like, girl, please, who is from Wisconsin? What y'all do over there? They have gangs in Wisconsin. Like the only thing I know about Wisconsin is they have like good cheese and like Jeffrey Dahmer is from there. That's it. So my homie Chris takes T Love outside and Daisy comes in out of nowhere and starts telling T Love that Egypt is calling her a bully because she's been picking on Wet Wet all day, which I feel like Daisy was wrong for that. And there's no real reason as to why she went out and did that. I feel like a producer did tell her to go outside and do that because even for this split second, you can kind of see Chris is telling Daisy where to stand. And also, there was no real reason for Daisy to do that because she's not friends with either of these girls. So then Egypt comes outside and I'm questioning how she knew what Daisy was telling T Love. Like, how did she know to come outside? But Egypt is trying to defend herself and say that she didn't use the word bullying or picking or whatever, which I don't really care. At this point, you're just worried about semantics. But we know that T-Love has been bullying Wet Wet because we saw it with our own eyes. And T-Love is a bully because she feels like she has the right to just correct everybody on what they say and what they do. So then the girls go back inside the house and Egypt and Daisy start arguing because Egypt is wondering why Daisy was trying to be messy. And by the end of the argument, Egypt just gets really frustrated and she throws the first punch, which in the previews for the last episode, it made Daisy look like the aggressor. And that's like another beef that I have with the editor. Like some of the scenes that we get on the previews, we don't get in the next episode. And I feel like the previews kind of set a different tone for what the next episode is going to be like. But then when you actually watch it, is a whole different mood. Because in the previews, we saw Daisy snatch Miss Egypt's wig off first before they started throwing punches. So I was thinking about making a compilation of all the preview scenes that we didn't get to see in the full episode once the whole series is finished. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's a good idea and you want me to do that. But back to Egypt and Daisy. So Egypt does have a ring on her left hand, but she doesn't have a ring on her right hand, right? So I think maybe when they first started pushing each other and fumbling around, that's when Egypt cut Daisy with her left hand. But when you watch the fight, you can see Egypt, she's only swinging with her right and landed every single punch with her right. But it's really unfortunate that Daisy got cut in her eyebrow and Egypt is wrong for that. And you don't really have to be hitting Daisy that hard. Daisy's more of a wig snatcher, a hair puller, and like a scratcher. So I feel like Egypt, you should have definitely been holding back your punches when you were fighting with Daisy. And everybody, including myself, was shocked with how much Daisy was bleeding down the side of her face. You can see Joseline here in the background with her mouth open, like, oh my God. Even the cameraman is kind of looking at her like, what? And then in this clip in the background, you can see Miss Natural like covering her mouth in shock. And I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but Miss Natural and Egypt are actually currently dating. So this could either be the moment where she is in shock that Daisy is bleeding like that, or she fell in love. I don't know. And now Miss Natural and Yummy in the background talking about these are our roommates. Thank God it's not us fighting this time. And the girls are just like, Joceline's gonna get mad because we're fighting, we're not dancing, we're not rehearsing. And like half these scenes, Joceline's like smiling. Like she really does not care. And she's not even getting in the middle of these fights trying to break them up either. And then Miss Egypt is saying in this scene that she does this for a living. So I'm assuming that she's actually like a professional fighter because of what she said. And then Joseline is also later in the episode dropping hints, calling her a UFC fighter or a boxer, which she could be joking, but I can believe that she's a professional fighter because literally every punch she threw landed. So then producers tell Egypt to go to her room and we get this one-on-one scene with her and Danny. And Egypt is talking about how she doesn't like to fight pretty girls and that she is sorry for swinging on Daisy, which I felt like her face was sincere when she was apologizing. But at the same time, like, you need to apologize to Daisy. And second of all, when she's recounting how the fight went, I feel like she's smiling a little too hard for me. There's still some sort of pride that comes from the fight. I think she's enjoying the camera time and the attention that she's getting from the fight. So now with all the problems out of the way, the girls can actually start rehearsing again. But not before we get a little back and forth between Ricardo and Joseline. You know, I really like Ricardo. Like, he's not afraid to speak his mind and tell Joseline what he's thinking. And this is why I feel like Ballistic was asking Joseline if she trusted Ricardo a few episodes ago, because he's not like disrespectful, but he's the only one speaking up. And he's trying to help Joseline make the cabaret better and help her with what she should be doing with the routine. And then Joseline just snaps back at him because obviously she's still upset about him defending Lucky. And she's just like, you don't need to tell me what to do. I'm the boss, not you. I've been doing this for a long time. I know what I'm doing. But honestly, Jocelyn, like if Ricardo wasn't there making the choreography and teaching the girls, your cabaret would be just awful. It wouldn't even be a cabaret because you had 3 seasons to put a cabaret together and you still couldn't do that. But I don't like the way Jocelyn is talking to Ricardo. Like she needs to stop talking to him like that. And then we get to see the rest of the routine, which I really like and it looks really fun. So I'm really excited to see it when they perform officially. And the Zeus production team needs to get themselves together because they keep coming with these rolls of paper towels trying to wipe off the floor. I don't understand why they don't just grab a rug from like a different room in the house and just throw it down because they keep coming with these little paper towels just being annoying. We then cut to Miss Egypt and Jocelyn talking in her room, and we find out that Miss Egypt has alopecia. And Jocelyn is basically telling her that she still looks beautiful and to stop fighting and focus on the cabaret because she still has a chance to get in. And she will essentially tell T Love the same thing during their conversation. And in this scene, we didn't get the clip from last episode's previews with T Love crying about how the girls in the house think that she's a bully, which I would have loved to see the rest of that scene and what Jocelyn thought about that. But the editor keeps playing with us, so I'm over it. And Tia Love is feeling herself way too much because she's gonna say that she feels bad that the girls are fighting over her or that they're fighting because of her. And it's like, girl, nobody's fighting over you. But I don't like how Jocelyn talks about Wet Wet with T Love because then I feel like it's giving T Love the impression that Jocelyn doesn't like Wet Wet when that's clearly not true, as we'll see in their scene later on. But Jocelyn also has to check in with Daisy first because she sent Daisy to the hospital. So they're FaceTiming, and Daisy is talking about how she wants to get her licks back with Miss Egypt, which I don't think with Miss Egypt you're going to be able to get any licks back. Honestly, Daisy, I feel like you should just ask for an apology from her if you feel so inclined, but don't get into another fight because she's just going to beat you up again. But Daisy did all of that for nothing because it seems like Egypt and T-Love are still friends, so she really got her face messed up for no reason. We then cut to Jocelyn sitting down with Lucky, and I feel lied to because in the previews, Jocelyn came out more hostile and unforgiving. But then during this clip, Jocelyn decides to give Lucky a second chance. Jocelyn says that she feels like she still can't trust Lucky and that if Lucky does anything else to piss her off, she will be going home. So Lucky got the second chance that she wanted, but she really has to watch herself and just basically do nothing but breathe. But it was still nice to see that they can hug it out and make up for now. But we know something down the line is bound to happen because it's always a roller coaster with these girls. And then for our big finale, we get Jocelyn and Wet Wet in the kitchen. And Jocelyn know that she is lying. She knows she is lying about Paris and London looking great. They look horrible. They really do look like stone, like rocks. Like they look hard. But then Jocelyn tells Wet Wet that she doesn't want her to be fighting the whole show and that she needs to learn the routine or that she's gonna go home. So Jocelyn makes Wet Wet go through the routine with her. And Wet Wet dancing is just funny. Like she knows the routine, but she's just not meant or made to be a dancer. She's really honestly shaped like Wendy Williams to me. Like that lowercase p with all boobs, just a skinny lower half and long legs. So the previews for the next episode was really whack to me. The only things that stood out were how Miss Natural seems to be getting into it with both Danny and Andrea. I think she's getting into it with Danny over like a room or something. And then she's getting into it with Andrea because Andrea is just annoying generally. But I really don't recall Jocelyn making Miss Natural her cabaret captain. So I don't know where all this energy is coming from. She says that she feels like she got demoted. Like nobody gave you that first place position. You kind of gave it to yourself and the other girls kind of followed behind you. But you can't really get upset when Jocelyn starts giving preferential treatment to the other girls before you because Joseline didn't give you any position. Like, you crowned yourself that. So we'll see if Miss Natural starts becoming the villain next episode. We also get the girls playing Three Lies and a Truth. And once again, Wet Wet is just being her usual self, I guess. I don't know at this point. But I'm really tired of her embarrassing herself for the cameras. Like, after all of this is said and done, you may not have a job lined up for you because of the way you just portrayed yourself on TV. Like, I'm just concerned about Wet Wet's well-being at this point. But I'm still gonna tune in because she's just so entertaining. So that wraps up episode 6 of Joseline's Cabaret. I'm gonna need another show to start covering once this finishes, so let me know what I should cover next in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!